Now it beats back to home because this is my brother. He's coming from the same village that I come from. This kind of publishing books and stuff. It's things that we see go with the TV. Di fella go bo Mokopane, di fella go bo Polokwane.
Ya comparison. Ya ba le go gatella ke batswadi. But ke duma gore o ka re rena re ka ba a very different generation. You're a father that I'm sure of. I'm not sure. Welcome to yet another episode of What's Poppin' the podcast, season 3, episode 1. As usual, I get Samakele Noshi, get Samale Mukoni, and I'm your host, Tukela the podcaster. Mukoni?
Hey, yeah, but I'm glad we're back. We are on season 3.
Episode 1.
Episode 1.
Yes.
Yeah, push
it.
Yeah, as usual, Mugoni is one typical Mugoni that always wants to know if there is a banana. A banana, we must know where it's coming from which is a tree. Yeah. When there's a tree, we must know where that tree is coming from. Which is
the roots.
When you've got the root, you must know where that root is coming from. Which is
the seed.
That's the old way that we want to make sure that we reroute everything back into how they malfunction, because right now we're living in an era whereby everything is malfunctioning. Everything is malfunctioning, but what we know is that if we do and we keep on doing what we're doing, we might function. How, I don't know, but the system is malfunctioning. But in a simple way, than gore re olwa le batho go tswa re kitimšana le batho ba re lekgwathi ba le mo le mokoni ba re tšhentšhang ba tshwere di-baby. It doesn't work anymore. You understand? So we thought that maybe if we can indulge more in literature. Literature, it's when we talk about literature, we're talking about reading, and responding your mind, and thinking what you never thought that could exist, but through literature, then I think maybe we might win, especially on the on the junior phase and the senior phase. Unlike us, me and you, I doubt that literature will ever redo.
We are rotten.
We are done, actually. Yeah. So I think maybe if we dwell much on these youngsters, those ones that are still in basic education, enforce this system of new books that they have, about financial literacy, the ideology of African history, momentum of better communications. Because remember, we were taught Kabudi, Dramadoris, Jan van Riebeck, and when they speak about our African history, they only talk about the western side of our African history. There's not even a single person that has given us exactly the African renaissance of the history that we are within. We haven't. I can bet with you right now that the only history that is that one of Jan van Riebeck. You see,
and so in a nutshell, the Jan van Riebeck even today, it's I know mogola mo rena ke kae mo ile go berekela gona in the real world.
I go pole mara skepe sona ke sna immediately, but you know what, with no waste of time, today is not about me, it's not about Tukela ke mokoni wa bokoni banana tree root seed. So we are here visiting there. Is it a seat? Are we visiting a seat? Are we visiting a seat
we are visiting a seat today.
So that when there's a banana, they must know which seed produced that banana. So I am not alone, and I usually, if someone was visiting, we've got a visitor, and maybe Mugoni brought a visitor. Usually Mugoni will be saying that I brought whoever, and he will be joining us or she will be joining us. But just for the fun of it, Lekhwati doesn't know Magajoane doesn't know Lekhwati. But I'm going to ask Lekhwati to No, I'm going. It's a. You know that thing when they call in your class in the morning when you get to school, they say we've got. Is it unprepared
speech?
Unprepared speech. Like what come in front.
But
tell us about.
We've always been doing that. We've always been doing that. I don't know episode there and one more really rehearse the previous day. Le one I wanna go unless if kesa go sharp, but that's fine. That's how it is. That's how it is.
And just to put you on record, I like what we are doing because you know most of shows, podcasts, you know, they reverse and revise. They've got the agendas. They speak about whatsoever and whatsoever. They even do the time frame. This one 5 minutes. This one 10 minutes. So unfortunately, there's a in hip hop. What do they call it? Freestyle. It's a freestyle. Yeah. So we have
it's unscripted.
It's unscripted.
Yeah.
Nothing is prepared because you'll end up even preparing lies because if you say go and prepare. So I'll give it to you. What you can continue.
And today, in Oliven. We are coming to you from Oliven in extension 60. Kodu
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know why. But later, we'll find out why that name specifically. And as Mukoni has mentioned, Mr. Magajoane is a writer, he's an author, he's a publisher as well.
Yes, sir.
You're right.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
really, Rababucha, when was it? Which episode did we appeal with our viewers that can we have assistance here? Can we add an extra mic? And when was it?
In our last episode, I think. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it was on our last episode.
Yeah, so
Coco season 2.
Yeah. So we're still appealing, guys. We're still appealing. We're still a small baby, and we will really appreciate that if you come on board. Just an extra mic, ne? You just need one extra mic.
One fail.
Yeah, because now you see I have to borrow our guest my microphone. So please, guys, man, we're still appealing that you give us just one, ne? Yeah, Mr. Magajoane.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I think you've said it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, Karabo Magajoane. I call myself the uncommon man.
Okay.
Yeah, because I believe I'm uncommon in every aspect.
Can we get straight to that? How are you uncommon?
Uncommon, not in a sense that I'm different. Uncommon in a sense that there is no other me. When I say I'm uncommon, it's because there is no person who is in my lane. There is no person who can think like me. There is no person who can do what I do. I'm specifically me. When something is different, you simply mean that there is something that can be compared to it. So uncommon means I cannot be compared to anything because there's nothing in my league.
Sure.
I'm competing against nothing.
Sure.
I'm only competing against my yesterday. So that what makes me uncommon. Yes, and I'm a coach. Maybe to add on what you just said, I'm a pastor as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
The football coach.
Life coach. Yeah, I'm a motivational speaker.
Okay.
Yeah.
Today we're not here to indulge Motabenyamukoni. We are here because really interested more how you started this journey, what inspired you, and so forth.
Okay. I think clearly I think it was around about 97. There was a feud in the community, and then that feud included my neighbors. So my mother said something that never left my mind.
Sure.
Yeah, then what's about so but by that time your ability or mathematics or so I think programmed ka baka la se ba reng ke a se kgona ka sekolong you can point then ka se focus too much mo talent ding ya then now ga ntse ke gola ke ya pele then I went to varsity Northwest University.
Okay.
I was studying BSc in microbiology, and then after that I think I was left with only few modules or complete. Unfortunately things didn't go my way, then ka be ke ya VUT ke ya
So ke
complete.
BSc in microbiology.
Yeah, in microbiology.
So go batho ba go tshwana le nna ba sa understanding or what is BSc in microbiology in layman's language.
Okay, nthenga bla gore microbiology ke mo ile gore re a go re tla challenge le right na la di bokwana e ke no gore ke dilo tse di nyane tse ileng gore a di khone go bonwa ka mahlo.
Okay.
A rena a normal gore re khone go di bona ke ka
Through microscope.
Yeah, through microscope o bona. So dilo tse ileng gore mo re phelang gona like gona yona re le ka tsela ye o le motho as an individual dilo yo dilo mo go yona gone diphidi tse ileng gore o kana se di bone ka mahlo. So microbiology re learn so much ka tsona lo tsa mothutong.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So from Northwest University,
then ka be ke ya ka VUT. That's when now ke dile diploma ka I complete my diploma ka electrical engineering under process control and instrumentation. So then now to cut the long story short, it happened or ha ke fetja le gona mo ka se ka ba ka fumana mmereko. Even a point I was hoping or okay maybe ke tla fumana mmereko, but then now ga ntse ke dutse ke marketa ke sene luck that's when I gradually because ke motho go kwana le go bala. Yeah, I like reading different minds. You can point then I ke bala go ne le monno mongwe o boletse okay before ke ya mo I think 2002 ke le ka ngwala drama but ka mo kereke mara ke no ngwala for the sake of fun. You can point then now going back to the story se ke travel some sa re ke ngwala mo go ne monno mongwe o boletse mantso mangwe re until o tsia ability ya gago as a profession e ka skebe ya go berekela e kana point then go tle mo ke sepelang gona audience response ke fumanang I realized no man motlhomong nka capture my mind e kana point then ka be into collection e kana point and after all this is what I'm good at e kana point then now how about ke then ka thoma ka via my minds into perspective and then kadongwala fase. I think it was around about 2015 mo ile gore ke thomile literally go ngwala. Yeah,
so go thoma go ngwala o thomile it's a book e gago think and act like a snake. Was it the first project there?
No, my first project kana bele about preparing the body.
Okay.
Preparing your body. It was a spiritual book.
Okay.
Yeah, so mo le gore ke le ka go encourage especially within Christendom or how significant their bodies are in terms of their services. So what inspired me ke di mistakes ke be ke di dira of course mo le gore as a preacher I wasn't mindful about what I do outside the pulpit. You can point. So then now, so that there was contradiction. People loved my service, but now the question would be, does God love my service? You can point. Then now, okay, let me take these young people. Remember, we tutor kaskolo, we tutor outside we tutor ka the mistake ja batho ba bangwe we tutor ka the positives from other people. So then I was trying to encourage people guys, you don't have to go through what others went through, especially from the negative side. You cannot point. So I was trying to inspire the young people ke eng to ba ka dirang go ba ka via mebela bona jwang go ba living sacrifices. Yeah, that was my first book, and then I published it around about 2016. Yeah,
and then think like a snake. Interested more on because Kenya go tseba gore why the name.
Okay, think like a snake. It's a project actually it's done. A published.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I think it's got two. You can point. So, but then now it's haste now. You wanna think and act like a snake. Now, the motive behind think and act like a snake, obviously how like a snake is quite awkward to many people and very threatening. I mean, if snake creature can I catch a lamo, but how Kalebella one of the most celebrated religious leader, if I would call him so, Jesus Christ, ha send out his disciples, I'm sending you to as sheep, number one. I'm sending you as sheep. and then among the wolves. But ukor now or behave like doves and be as wise as snakes.
Okay.
So a sheep must have two personalities. The personality, or rather three, of course, it's personality of a sheep of itself, and that of a dove, and that of a snake. You can point. Now, a picture. A sheep obviously is intimidated whenever it gets in the company of wolves. But what will make it survive if it think like a snake? You can point, because obviously a wolf wanna sheepy, wanna something to
prey on.
You can point. However, for a sheep to win a wolf, it must attack or approach with that mentality of a snake. Now remember, a snake is very small. It's a very small creature. A snake doesn't have a place called home. You can point. A snake is a threat to almost every creature. So every creature is after a snake to kill it. You can point. But what makes a snake to survive? Number one, a snake can be in a house and you never know.
Sure.
That is there. You can point. So that personality on itself, it's what people who are on a mission. It could be in broadcasting society. It could be in any platform. For you to survive, remember, you are amongst the people who intimidates you. You are doing this, and there are people who maybe we may call them experts. You might be perhaps be invited in environment whereby you got to interview people who you feel intimidated. But first of all, you need to your presence. It's what will matters the most. A snake can be in an environment and nobody knows. So one of our problem as people is we talk too much. When we get to any assignment, we introduce even before the actual action. So if you want to make it in this life, number one, never make other people aware of who you are, of what you can do, and what you are capable of. Secondly, what I love the most, and I also made a practical example about myself. A snake always depends on its ability. A snake is never intimidated by its prey. Doesn't matter how big you are. Doesn't matter how big the prey is. A snake always depends on its ability. So in this life, to survive, to accomplish your mandate, to accomplish your assignment, what you need to do depend on your ability. So that is, in short,
interesting
to say, thinking like a snake, meaning that at some points, you need to depend on what you are good at, not on where you are from, because remember, there are many people who today lack confidence. A graduate, for example, a graduate with no confidence. A graduate, somebody who just wore a garment yesterday, but he's working in a community without confidence. Why? Because the discipline he or she followed, perhaps I am lady Karabo Magajoane. But with his head above everything. It's when he depend on what he's good at. And lastly, maybe before, one of the interesting features about Snake Gore, it can live in all environments. It doesn't matter where it finds itself in. So, checking at my life, there's I remember when I go Northwest University, my first year, 6 months, I was sleeping in a garage. I mean, in the one. So I had to work in for the whole year. For the whole year. But because I was after a mission, what kept me going? I had no choice. I had to go through this because it's the only platform.
So, Northwest University, what are the understanding? Rebola campus go Val.
No. Going to come Komahike.
Oh, Komahike.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because agree after that thing ya di-merger ba ne le Mafikeng ba ne le Porsche yeah Valley ke former Vista
yes
yeah and then ka Porsche ke la ya ibele Christian school something yeah then yela ngwela ke betse ba ka Unibo
so o fitla go NWU ne pressures is galore
yeah
how did you overcome the pressure ya tertiary
hey mona go before go araba mo go gopola go ne le tšatši le lengwe ke ne ke sepela I think ne ke tswa ka ra campus yeah ke tswa go study ya pula bena I enjoyed crying that day simply because nobody see my tears
because it was raining
yeah it was raining well obviously ntwe ye inkeptileng remember ke a gopola ka first ya ka ne ke a pere bogoboane ne ke sene to change ne ke ne le pocket fela e one and ibile pocket yela ke hlakaleditswe e ke no point so ntwe ye inkepileng ke go ba le lihlo go dimga mafelelo aka so I always told myself gore I am not the finished product. Every day is an episode, it's a new episode towards the completion of who I really am. And like I just said, I always depended on what I am good at. I never allowed, I think in one of the radio stations, ase skepe ase nwelele ka metsi a se potapotile mara ka metsi a tsanaka so I always maintain that or ske ka dumella maemo ke leng ka raga ona a ntsene ka gare e ke no point so go ne go le bohloko it was never easy somehow my confidence was tarnished somehow it was affected but I was always fighting not against what people are saying but against what I supposed to be believing that's how I kept myself together amidst all
that's how you kept yourself grounded
yeah
okay buka tša go je fitileng ke tše pedi o busy ka think like a snake
yeah think and act like a snake yeah
so tše dingwe tše pedi
ye ngwe gape ye ke leng busy ka yona no yana but ye leng gore e tlotla ka morago ga yeah ke run to win yeah
e inspire le keng
nto inspire le ke sa boela back gore my life in general you can point go se khone go se kuara a permanent job especially of your discipline you can point hantse ke dutse fase ke le ke tšhe di motivational speaker ke tšhetša ka kerekeng ba rera ke ntse ke bala dibebele I realized gore apart from all I still have a race to run you can point and then now so I'm here to with that script the aim is to inspire people guys no matter what you are going through no matter what you are doing you have a race to run this life is a race and then fortunately in this race you are not competing against anyone you are in your lane so kilebelechi the way but bale so dissatisfied kilebelechi the way but bale so dissatisfied in their lives in their job places, everywhere in their relationships. Problem one of the chapters overcome your societal traps. One of the things re problem mhlomong gore ga o tswa varsity you are expected go ba o bereka mereko o itseng o sentse be driver koloi because community engwe le engwe ena le mentality o itseng ka success e ke no point in the mentality o itseng ka batho ba tswang ba re ba rutegile so their expectations divya members under pressure o tsaya gore motho o tswa university ga bereki and because ga bereki a nya ke gore aka tloga ilodia whatever can put bread on the table because community in a mindset so kamo kere if you want to run this race successfully make sure gore au fully into the trap your society in ilo remember society ngwe in a perception ya gore success ke ya gore motho o phelang as a top dog ke phelo bojoa you get upon then now every child o gola with that mentality our minds are programmed ngwana ka gola we lo bereka ngwana ka skwa tshwana le bo mamma ngwana ka 1 2 3 and then now ke
go tshwaraganyane o touch a very interesting topic ya comparison from parents. Nana gire re to an ad break.
Okay.
It's a very interesting topic.
Yeah, fish. That's why I feel little hard because mono jwa kureng jwa kurito ba ka re ke phaya se ka re kwa ne kita ya bolela. Nna ke bolele selo le mo kwa bana. Ideology of thoughts nna ke na selo ke tlo kwa monno ke tlo ja go monno ke thiritse le gwadi yone let's go for an ad break plus ka re a fisha bana re a ka le bona monno wa so re ka metsing re tla boa. Yeah, we call it what do you call it?
An ad break.
An ad break. Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
Welcome. We're back from the ad break. I was still with Mr. Magajoane, our author, our writer, a publisher, life coach, pastor.
Yes.
Yeah. Because I'm more interested in this one here, pastor, for one reason and one reason only. But today we know about that. But la tlarebolela ka yona le Mr. Magajoane offset. And hey, kana go dintsi man, when I try to indulge into this topic, they were attacked after that.
but as I understand we are not on the topic, but you know you're my friend, ne?
Yeah.
You're my brother. I don't have friends. You're my brother.
Yeah.
So I wanted to check her. So far, me and you, we never fight, ne?
Yeah.
So far, ne?
Yeah.
On this issue, because I know it's always sensitive to you, but you never
No,
come
to answer you, before you go forth, I'm still where you left me.
Okay.
Yeah, let's not indulge.
It's not about us today.
Yeah, it's not about us because hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, no, I'm glad that you asked Magajoane those questions that you asked him.
Sure.
Yeah. Now it beats back to home because you know this is my brother. Is coming from the same village that I come from. You know, this kind of publishing books and stuff. It's things that we see go with the TV, the fella go mokopani, the fella go polokwane. Understand? We don't have those things at home. Understand? And I'm glad that Mr. Magajoane decided to bring it home.
Sure.
Understand?
Sure.
I doubt. Do we have anyone that has ever published a book at home? At home, Kureng.
Yeah, honestly, this lady wa motho ke no se bona o go le Kureng ka pa wa ka bo.
Oh, I think kwa Mlapu ne. Sadi.
Sadi ya.
Yeah, Sadi kwa Mlapu. Kwa Mlapu. Ga ntse bukela ba dula ga Mlapu. Re ka se mmale wa ka bela ka.
Gora re bukela ke ya rena
Mlapu. I know very well who you're talking about. So bukela se ya rena. Arena buka Kureng. Na ke le ka nyaka ngole buka ke no roki Kureng.
Okay.
Ke ngwana ditaba tse ka mo go tlo du mono ke ka mo ntle ne ngwana ke Kureng.
Yeah.
Ka e fetsa go bula o nyaka go taba tsa ka mo understand but personally that like Mr. Magajoane has. So now I'm glad that go Kureng o felletse maybe a bona gore this is an opportunity lo reng re ka e berekish. And what I like about this opportunity asin thole lo reng it's going to happen today and then if it did.
Sure.
Understand? Literature, especially a book, it's something that anytime, anywhere.
What's about you wanted to write a book? You reminded me of something, Mama. Our first episode. Really, Rabolela, first episode. Rabolela about where we come from and you know. I've always been interested over in radio. I understand.
You did mention, I remember.
I did mention.
Yeah, you did mention.
I was once a poet. I can still write.
Emma Pele, when you say you were once a poet, those pictures that you share with Glenn on social media where you're wearing some... I was a comedian by then. Oh, you were also a comedian?
Yeah, I was also a comedian. I was also a rapper. Ne?
So you were
the ghost lady knows, right?
I remember those days.
Yeah, and I was very good at it. Yeah, Kore, I've been a creative from day one.
You see, that's why I made you my brother.
Yeah.
So I knew. Got so many things that you can do.
I just want to highlight this
yeah.
because you have a podcast. You are a McG wannabe. Understand? Kora kisanya ka go gatella that point or no, I'm not a McG wannabe. Kin naman like Mr. Magajoane aboleji gore there's no one in his lane. There's no one in my lane. I'm not competing with anyone. That's who I am. I'm a creative. Katlhago. Baba? So re itla mo tabeng eo. E tlisha ke tabe be re bolela ka yona before the ad break. Ya comparison. Baba le go gatella ke batswadi. But ke duma gore o ka re rena re ka ba a very different generation. You're a father that I'm sure of. I'm not sure about Ntate Magajoane.
Yes, I am.
Okay. Baba, you're a father, I'm a father. I'm a father of 2 beautiful daughters. Ne? Kidumoga regaba a generation yabo papa is different. Baba, let our kids be. Ne? Re ba tlogelle ba dire di mistakes tša bona. Unlike us ka mogore go dileng ka gona. You know, go dile e leng gore in an era mo e leng gore you are not allowed go bolela your views. Ne? Go bolela di views tša gago, it meant gore wena wa disrespect. So, but this is not about me today.
Yeah, it nearly hits home, but it's not hitting home, but it becomes personal, but it doesn't have to be personal. Yeah. But today it's not about us.
It's not about us. It's not about me. It's not
I think each and every black child have a story to tell about parents. I believe so. Understand? Because that is the culture that we are coming from. Understand? Yeah, but for now, Mr. Magajoane, just to give us a view, besides we bula RFL view, like what inspired him and what is his support structure, because at the end of the day, as much as you want to do something, you need to have a support structure. Even me, if I was doing this thing alone, or if you were doing this alone, trust me, there will be some days you'll be like, enough. Sorry to swear, Pastor, but fuck it. There will be those days. Sure. Like, you know what? Like he said, you will feel like, you know what? This is the last day of it. I'm giving it off. I'm giving up on it and I'm done with it. But if you've got a good support structure, trust me, the day you feel that, you know what, today I've had enough of it, then I will come as a brother and say, I'm my brother. Hey, you're still very far away from that. You can't give up now. True. You have to push until you get there. You understand? So let's give it to him. Let us give us the view of understand what transpired, and then there's the support structure that made him to be where he is right now. Understand? Because I believe that no man is an island, so you do have people that do give you that support. So maybe it's a good way, in a way, Magajoane, to say, or you've been with me, guys, and you pushed me to be where I am, and you know what? Let's keep on doing that. Let's be brothers. Hopefully, who knows? You know how the cycle turns. Today it's me that's got the energy. He does not have the energy. Tomorrow it's him that has the energy. Those brothers now do not have the energy. They expect him to give them the energy in a way. You understand? So I would hear from Magajoane gore yena ora ba fitlo maleng, because it's not easy, man. Gore yena
ke matseba monno ke bereka le yena o tlo bolela the whole day.
Ke nyaka go bolela re tatso ke re ke re fe Magajoane ka mong ke moswarenyana ga di gabedi
no man kwagala obviously le nna ke tswa ka ga family. I'm a kid. I might be a man, a father, but I'm also a kid. Before ke ya too much ke na go ntse ke na ka go bontsha ona mo ka taba ya parenting, how parenting can bring both effects, negative and positive, to any child. Only a very common story ka ga baby le sa Samson.
Sure.
Samson and Delilah. I always contradict many people about Delilah or like a prostitute. That was never the case.
Not Delilah, but Samson.
Samson many people, because Samson gave himself to a prostitute.
Okay.
And the prostitute cut off his hair, and then so forth and so forth. And then many, today when we are being advised, we are told, stay away from women, stay away from this. But it's not women that killed Samson. It is not Delilah who brought the demise of Samson. The demise of Samson was brought by his parents. If you are careful in reading your Bible, you would notice that Samson, when he was born, God told him, or rather God told his parents, through Samson, I'm going to defend Israel. Delilah was not the first prostitute that slept with Samson. Samson was key, or rather, let me say, Delilah did what the parents could not do. And you wonder why so many children today are so comfortable outside the vicinity of their parents, because they get what they cannot get at home. For starters, when Samson married, he married out of disapproval of his parents. Who of you would sit and enjoy his marriage when you know that your parents never credited your wife? They were never there. So then now, Samson...
Sorry to say, but I know Samson is behaving like some parents, but clearly, before you continue, if there will be parents that will be watching this episode from this slate moving on, whatever that is will be explaining about Samson, please do an introspection, parents, because some parents are behaving like Samson's parents. So please make an introspection with what Mr. Magajoane is going to say. Sorry. Just continue.
Because Samson, he needed his parents. He wanted the blessings of his parents. He got none. So imagine you are at home looking at your wife and your parents in the same kitchen, knowing that they are not catching eye to eye. So it left a hole in Samson. When challenges of life or marital challenges came, Samson could not go back to his parents. The first thing would be, we told you so. So you can imagine, Samson had no parental backup.
Sure.
Parental backup is very crucial in upbringing of any child. Delilah, she did very simple thing. She put Samson on the lap, and Samson felt comfortable like he never had before. Delilah made Samson to speak her heart. Samson never had a platform, never had a space to speak himself, to be a child, to be a mad child, to be noted with his parents. So family structure is very key, it's very critical. Like myself, yes, of course, there are, that and that which I made contradict with my parents, but somehow I'm very happy for my mother. You can point. There's a time whereby I had a chat with her. I mean, especially December. I told her, Mama, you know what? I am me. I am me. I cannot be the other person. I am me. And in whatever I do, sometimes you must be very grateful that I haven't to this far committed suicide. It shows how strong am I. You don't know the battles that I had to fight on my own. You don't know the tears I had to shed before I go to sleep. You don't know my pride. The pride that I cannot even feel myself. Because when I go throughout the community, it's like I'm just ashamed because I cannot meet societal standards. Now imagine if you feel this societal rejection and you go home. Your parents cannot give you that platform to be yourself, to exhibit who you are. Of course, they have their own expectations. We are expecting you at this time to have built your mama a story house. We expected you to be driving because of their malady. They are expecting you to be bringing them out. However, they forget that you also have a mandate to fulfill here on earth. And then that mandate might mean you becoming a totally different person. Like I just said, I'm uncommon. God just made me to be me. And then he has a specific purpose. Taking you back to the biblical perspective, there's this child called Moses, or this man called Moses. He's a prophet, a well-known prophet. But I like the parental statue that he got from his mother. His mother, when she realized that he could no longer hide Moses, what did he do? So according to me, the Bible says the mother saw how fair, how fair Moses is, or how Moses looked. So to me, it's like she was a prophet to this boy. She knew what is at stake for this boy. So she did everything she could. So as a parent, they must do. Parents are the first prophets to tell what the child should be like, or to see the future of every child. And then therefore, whatever it means. My mother used to say, the white community would buy a lump sum of or rather cluster of toys to their infants, and observing how the children play with their toys. Whatever toy they seem to be liking, then they perceive that might be his point of interest. If, for example, he loved playing with the soldier toys, perhaps that's who he might unfold to be. And then they would support them. Now, you speak something about education, about Jan van Riebeeck and so forth and so forth. Every parent want a child to go to school, graduate, and work, and bring them out of poverty. That is the misconception that parents had. They inherited that from their parents, and they bring to us too. Because we are never, as children, to encouraged to persuade our dreams. A profession is never a dream, but we are being persuaded to follow profession. And after attaining that certificate, if your certificate doesn't unfold to anything, then your world is haphazard. Your world is breaking up, because they programmed you to think that doctorate is a dream. Doctorate is not a dream. It's something to support a dream. You must have a dream. Your parents must identify your dream and help you, groom you under the umbrella of that dream. So, and then whatever career path you follow, it must be to support. One reason why we have so many people today, the butlers, the robbers, those people, they have talents, but because they failed in their profession, they think that they are useless. But there is something about them. Look at the white community. You will find my boss. I would visit his house. Sometimes you would see him, his child, 2-year-old child playing around the swimming pool. And I said, hey man, aren't you afraid? He said, no, look, let him be, let him fall, let him be himself. So now the point is, whatever the white community mentality have, they bring their child, they train them. If he's fixing electrical cords and so forth, he bring the child. But what about the black community? Hey, excuse to say that.
No, this is a free platform.
So also again, I think we've been discussing that in the car when we come here. You understand? Or
I think also, I think our ghost lady for the day has something to say.
Yeah, and I get
okay.
I'm going to discuss when we come here. Because you can tell from her also, with her point of view, that it looks like I said, it's a black child's problem. Because each and every black child you meet from whatsoever family, this thing always comes up. If you don't believe me, just listen to her. I'll give you. Tell me, what do you think about what we're talking, especially about parents dividing children, not letting them being what they want to be, always calling them to order, while you're supposed to actually just look, okay, ngwana lo rata box, o lo rata le botlele, o lo rata eng. Wena right through, o bele bana o ka re ba ka mo seleng, ba dule mo city. O ya kae wena? Understand? Why are we having that? And yama thomo ile re kinyaka we discuss before ya ke yona ya comparison. Each wa ka into your comparison, especially mo batswading hore o khwetse motswadi a rata tuki go feta nna, go ba rata nna go feta tuki. And then tuki feel sama hore le wa swana ba re ba go bitsa wa swana banyaka mamanga banyake nna. Understand? Yeah, so I can say when from your side ka mo marawo you wanna wrong.
I think the problem ka batswadi ba batho ba bantsho, first of all, banale favoritism. Kantlong. Okay. And this favorism, I told me from little, like such a little baba hole, but it told me little baba nyan. But go lebella o salo munyan. Go right. Oh, khona go kulmaka. Oh, khona go diang. Oh, khona. Well, I understand. And then, oh, hola. ke mo ithomang gona gore hi o khalifile ka sekolong o diang wang understand of which re le bana a re tshwana we are not the same o mongwe o ne ability go di bukeng o mongwe o ne ability to use their hands ba bona e ke be ke tshega a bolela ka gore o kira ngwana lukisha plaka ba metha ba re wena o ka swa tlhogo mmago lo so I've seen firsthand naka my younger brother one latella like from a young age he was a person wa rata go lukisha dilo tša motlhagase dilo tše di so only now ke gona ba bona gore no this person o nyaka go ba engineer ke ntwe vele a go like instead of yena a raloke ka di toy normally like any other child ba di bula a checka ka mogare gore ga botse ntwe e tsamaisha kolo e tsamaisha keng dilo tše di so wa understand so our parents are not even supportive they see that thing from a young age but instead of grooming it they rather discourage you not to do that and you are right when you say it's the society that we live in we are brainwashed to or our parents are brainwashed and also stereotyped to a point whereby if baba na ngwana ka next door a ile sekolong a dia yona nursing ewe or teaching or in a kira mmereko ka pela and then a khona go diela ba then ba tlo fakela wena pressure not knowing gore le wena also yourself you going through so much pressure that society standard as yourself Luana as a child you're going through the same thing you're going through the same pressure that's why these days it's so sad that we have so much high rate of suicides because of Ogarwa most of these suicide it's because of Batswadi comparing their kids or bona mang and on top of that the social media also plays a big role too. And parents are just not there and they're insensitive in some cases they always want you to be what they want you to be the black parents don't support our talents at all
it looks like when they compare us and now we never compare them to Bomotsepe.
We don't.
You'll never tell your parent gore ge Motsepe baba aiba as rich as he is today. Where were you? What were you doing?
Exactly. And I remember at one point, like you know this thing, parents keeping on comparing you. One time vele salka ibolela that thing ba busy ba nkom kere why le na le sa tshwane le Motsepe le Oprah Winfrey
sure
why le sa tshwane le bona le nna I want to live the soft life tshwana le bana ba bona so why didn't you guys work hard bona ba di kerile jwang
bona ga ba a trust fund baby
one understand and now when you say things like that to them it's disrespectful it's hurtful to them but when they start comparing you it's supposed to motivate you.
I'm not saying this in a disrespectful manner.
Yes,
ne?
We all not saying it in a disrespectful
manner. 2-room. Ne? You grew up in a 2-roomed house. Ne kamora ya lena ka moka le kitchen. At a point mo le godile le tlhalefile lena be le robala ka kitchen, right? Bona ba robala ka kamoreng. At a later stage of Obereka, you are now expected to build your mother a big house. How are you going to build her a house? Exactly. Understand?
No, I do get, but let's. I'm not saying we are promoting those kind of things.
No, we are not.
And we must just bear in mind there's no such thing also as black tax. It's about, as he said, ne? If umkhudishitse botse ka lerato o le motswadi o sang kgetholle le ge ile 2-room wa re ngwanaka ke gopela 10-room it's not a problem
but
actually I will say mom I will make it 14 don't make it 10
isn't a pressure
not no onkule ke rileng because gona le batswadi ba dirang an expectation that because now we made you who you are your first monies what you will be receiving must come back home understand. Like I said, if what I'm going to ask Magajoane as a solution, we'll have those kids that will turn those 2 rooms into 20 rooms. Understand? With no pressure, with no one saying anything. Ibile bona bare mama kenyaka so mara bar 20 kenchi repay di 10. Those are the kind of parents that we should be. But for us to get there, Karabo Magajoane sunjarfe a better solution on his view. Those kind of parents, Wana is able to run faster at home to say, Mommy, Daddy, this isn't my problem. This is what I went through, or this is what I am going through. Understand? You need to give your child that shoulder. Let them express themselves. You understand? Because now opalla go express go motswadi go sentse go express koma I see ona re tlokela bana ba rena ba 14 years ba kitima le bontate ba gona le ba le 50 60 years because they don't find that love at home.
Sure.
O fitla re ye ngwana ka kwa sempuchi na lo tsheu na re gotse so what is that?
And to
Go gotse so the system is different now.
To add on to that, Vele, that is a big problem. I think parents should start ibebona di chomi tsa rena before we get to the wrong place.
Sure.
Because sometimes if you can't talk at home, maybe you're in a serious problem as a child. But because you know your parents or everything you tell them already kinto or why would you so? Well, understand? You start going to the wrong cruise, wrong friends, and they start advising you wrong things. Obviously, that's what we mislead at the end of the day. That's why we find most young girls banally blessa.
Sure.
Most young boys bachilali di spinara and getting into jail at a young age because now you are scared to go home and tell them the truth or oh mama wataki dealing or papa wataki dealing because you know their reaction. So all right, let's be a different breed of parents to our kids. Whatever mistake we dealing it like a high.
But that's like because one day we need on women's perspective because me and you always talk about women and women. On women's perspective, we need to engage the ghost lady someday and just from the view of a woman, you know, get to understand how kids should, because even from their mother's side, we have seen what can be done from them. They can also, you know, do encourage other women that this is how, as women, as mothers, we should behave towards our children. Understand? So besides wasting the time, what to decide or decide to learning, Magajoane. Because we are hunting around,
and
you know.
At
break. No. But it's fine. Magajoane, in the next 30 seconds, we'll still tackle this issue and then get to decide on what's the better solution from you. Just in 30 seconds, then we'll be coming back.
Yeah, Reaboa, stay tuned. The Uncommon Men amongst Bakoni, and then we'll elaborate more about this parental issue because it's a problem and it must be tackled out. Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, Erwile when the say like I'm bona Oliven. How it's very nice. A black person was not designed to be enclosed in a concrete hall inside. We are natural people. We're supposed to be on nature. Recharge with. Remember Mofasi? Like I told you, Nagis Africa could even Mofasi. As African, earth. They've got the earth leakage, body earth leakage. That's why Uswarinchika na going to choose Mofasi. Melewamutu. Africa, melanin. I'm talking about black people.
Ghost lady,
yeah. Ghost ladies is practicing. So, mutomon sorna a melanin. A melanin, a white person does not have. Only a black person has a melanin. It's a system that used to connect with the ground, and the ground is on earth leakage. That's why you'll find black people hugging trees to be like, these people are crazy. They are not crazy. The tree comes from a root. The root comes from a leakage. Leakage, touches your feet. And then we've got what we call crown. it goes with your chakras and your pineal gland. You recharge from the sun. That's what we call sun glazing. So if you go out, you recharge more than being in your house. So because I like go and recharge Mr. Magajoane, let's take it from on the issue of how can we better this system? How can we be better parents? Which solution can we bring as the current parents to our kids that will differ or be different to how we grew on the system that we have inherited right now, Reina, as Batswadi?
Yeah, well, go na le ntho tse re plan re botsa batho gore motho ga o fitse go ithuta and then ga o le motho o santse o dule o le boemong ba gore wa ithuta. So yaanong rena generation ye mpsa le generation e sa tlo go tla ye leng gore ke batswadi gona jwalo e sa tlo ba batswadi gona jwalo is paramount important gore re ithute and go ithuta re ka ithuta ka diphoso tša batho ba bangwe o ka ithuta ka tše dibotse tša batho ba bangwe. So ra gore ka mantšu a mangwe go lebelele morago ga di ka mokgo e leng gore dilo ga da diwa gabotse ka gona re ka ithuta gore go ne le ntho engwe ye shortang e kana point. And then sa bobedi swantse re fetole megopolo ya rena gopola gore monagano wa motho o kotsing go feta mogodu wa motho. Monagano wa motho mogodu wa motho o ka ja poison in few seconds o tla boshitse o bontšha gore go ne ntho engwe e wrong mo wena mara monagano o ka ja ntho e wrong o ka ja poison wa skebe wa bona within 20 years from now gore go ne le ntho engwe e wrong e tsene monaganong wa gago mara ka ditšweleletšo tše o tla beng o di dira ke mo re tlo kgonang go bona gore mogopolo wa motho ga se mogopolo o e leng gore o boemong bo bo right ka the information ya e fumana. So as young people who are to be parents and as current parents now, especially in this technological world, we need to upgrade our minds. We need to upgrade how we think. We need to get more information, new information. Remember, a parent is like this. Solomon, one of this most celebrated kings in the Bible, ore ngwana o jwalo ka khotlopo mo I mean le rumo mo khotlopong ya motsumi. A child is like an arrow in the quiver of the hunter. So now a sword, or rather an arrow, motsumi o ishimisha gore mo a sa kgoneng go fihla gona you gonna point an arrow e tlo go fihlela gona but before motsumi a ka tšea arrow a ilo e berekisha for the prey o santse a berekane le arrow pele santse a e betle. Unfortunately the arrow tše re neng tsona today di kubegile e gonna point di remile mo le ga ra tshwana go rema gona di go betše maikutlong di go betše menaganong go ne le moshimano mongwe ba re ke Mephibosheth ka rega bebele ba re motho a beng a mo hlokomela o ile a kitima ka yena a mo wisitša fase a go bala mokokotlo a golofala maoto a mabedi a sa kgona go tsamaya. So now ke phoso ya motswadi yo a beng a leka go kitimišetša Mephibosheth to the safer place, but along the way a mo dropper. So many kids today are being dropped. They are not physically disabled but mentally we are mentally dysfunctioning. There was a time recently I felt so lonely. I wish my father was still alive. I wish he was here. Maybe he would know what to do. Maybe he would do. So you could tell gore batswadi ba bapala role e kakang in the upbringing ya bana bo. So motswadi mo lo mong today o le motswadi ke le motswadi today, it's our responsibility go bona go re betla marumo a re neng lo batswadi ba rena ba re ngwana ga re 21 swantse be le re o ka gagaga again and then ba dia white culture by chatting but ba lebala attitude ya white minority, I mean majority towards bana bona ba 21 ngwana da 21 ba mo fa everything ba re tsama go thomela bophelo jwano ka gae gona jwano a ba mphe selo ba nya ka re ke be independent a go ntse ba mpanyana sentse ke build go dima ga yo ke lo build a life from the scratch and ka nako ke bona ka re din tsamela ga botse I'm already 50 and mo go expect how re give le magala double story, then that double story yo ge ke fetša go e aga aksane matla aksane matla re ke tswa ka ga ke double story mara ka kilo aga mokhuku then le nna ke tlo expect go tla go like man ke bana ba. So every parent is your responsibility go bona gore you create wealth. Number one, you create wealth for your children, not riches. Bona gone jale as a breadwinner ka gae go ba bane ba gago go tlogella bana ba gago tšhelete o ba tlogella bodidi.
That's true.
Bana ba gago ba tlogelle lehumo se bang tšhelete ba tlogelle lehumo create lehumo gona jwale ka motswadi o se wa phelela go ba le borotho kore ka mantša mangwe ideology ya rena ke gore o se kwa nyaka go berekela boja o se kwa nyaka go berekela go fepa mpa nyaka go berekela for example o ka create a company o ka create whatever ntho e leng gore bana ba gago ge ba fitša stay se itseng you know gore ba kgona go ba at liberty ya go choose whatever path ba e nyakang ba se under pressure you gonna point because o ba tlogeletše maybe o na le property gauteng maybe o na le property gona ko gae o na le dikgomo o na le what then you know gore kgwedi ka kgwedi investment ela e kgona go fa ngwana o kgona go study like I love education. You gonna point I love studying, however I can a choice no yana because of I must work. You're gonna point if it was up to me, if I had source of income, let's say if my parents had properties and then from that property to mana 5 rand out to 10 rand I would do whatever that is in my heart. I would do whatever that I love. So batswadi ba rena ba so hooked up ke go ntšha kala ka gae ba lebala gore ba sentse ba create something. So now nna ke iputse ka tsela ye go bana ba ke neng le bona. I'm not so concerned gore na ngwanaka e tlo ba eng. I'm so concerned gore ngwanaka e be yena number 1. And then ngwanaka ke make bana ba ka ke make sure ke build that relationship le bona gore ngwanaka a kgone go bolela gore a phatloge ga kgona gane le nna e ka bona gore ke kgone go moruti ka otherwise o tlo phatlogane le wena and wena o tlo motlabo. My son is only 1 year 2 months now. Baba kala ke ditile ena ke tsadela ke dia almost every activity ke ne le ke botsa mara ke no you know what ne if I'm taco platform because gona jwanong that creative ability, that independent ability e gona mo go yena but the scorning ya e fumana from the parents you kgona go shade you got upon then confidence reach from there. So tlhokomela ngwana ga go a o mo skoni ngwana ga go wa mo trainer. So parents must train their children. Go hlapa meno, go hlapa mmele, go hlatswa dijwana. Mosenja lumola go lebelela go dia mola a tšee malibesha. Batswadi ba our parents are not there. They are missing in our lives. Ge ona go tsoga fela rena bana o ile bana ba ge re gola a sera rutwa le go alola e gonna bond basadi ba rena ba makala today go no tsoga fela tša borogo blahlela kwa because
that's the teachings you got from where you're coming from.
You get my point. So as a parent make sure you train your child 5 years old wa mo tša ga tsoga fela alola
a o gitimele
strateng are that is a ka no se di gabotse mara o tla bo mo ruta gore ga tsoga every time ga tsoga I'm not one of the cleanest person but my daughter is thanks to her mother. She's very clean to the point ya gore ga o ka ba le anything mo meleng wa gage you would tell immediately watching because melo go se gore o rutile go ba clean. You can upon whether mago gona or ha gona what's the first. So you teach your children responsibility. You teach them, that's how you train them.
Ya no ke go kwa gape ke a tseba gore nka se boleli tabala subela tabala subela because this thing it hits back home guys. It's not it's a problem that infiltrates in each and every black family. Understand? So we need every day to come up with the resolutions that can change the perception that no we had that our kids should not inherit. Understand? Because onwalo nna ke na le problem ya gore batswadi ba bantši ba ke rata ka tša rena the youth ke re sa no bitša youth le ge re fitile 35 mara mmele wa o kwa gore wona o sa le o moswa youth and dala. Understand? Let's stop this thing ya gore my father did this, my mother did this, and that's how it's supposed to be. Understand? Some of the things you can learn them not at home, but with system that is out there. Like he says, you see now he's talking about how you should treat that young child or that young daughter. If you have to be clean, you have to start with your bed. Make sure your bed is tiny. So if you learn this thing from there, then you get home, you also train your daughter. Or you know what? I learned from Magajoane or no 5 years. They don't have to just wake up and go play. They must do their bed. So such education, not all the education you will get from, especially the toxic parents. We're not going to shy away that we've got toxic parents. But it does not mean that you have to be a toxic child who's going to be a parent that is going to be a toxic parent to her or his child or his children. It must stop. Understand? That's why it does lights up that this is how the system should be. You understand? But understand, and we still have other things tailoring. We need to touch them because remember the main aim, Mr. Magajoane, it was not about life coaching. We understand, yes, you're a life coacher, but it was about promoting you. We want to promote you. We came here to promote you. Understand? So I wanted to check from your side, ne? What's your accounting visibility? But I get a visibility accounting, but in a nature shall Mr. Magajoane, with what you are doing, what do you aim to achieve? What do you want to see happening, and what is your time frame to such with what you are doing? What brought us here, which is your literature, which is your books, which is your publishing, which is your authoring. What perception do you have about it, of your goals? What do you want to see yourself? For how long? What or where do you want to reach?
Okay. Personally, as a speaker, or rather a public speaker, I want to see myself amongst, or not necessarily amongst, even though for reverence's sake, let me say amongst those who are influential speakers. You can point. I want to reach out to the masses. I want to help people from my experience, especially, but for now, what I want to tackle specifically, mental depression. You can point, because it's a common sickness. So because Lena, I once had suicidal thoughts. You can point. So I want to reach out to men out there because of this thing, insignificancy. You can point. So I want to see myself amongst men there, reaching out to men in particular. Or hey guys, you are not defined by where you are, by your mistakes, but you are defined by what you are capable of. Define yourself not by your mistakes, define yourself not by what you did, but define yourself by what you are capable of doing. I want to go out there within this period of time, let me just say time frame of a year, and not only through my manuscripts, but vocally. I want to reach out to men. I want to see myself breaking into men's society, perspective ya polygamy, perspective ya abuse, perspective ya, because this is what derail us as men. So I want to inspire young people again that life success is not about education. Again, a point. So I want to get out there and reach them out there. But in terms of the discipline that I just ventured into, I want to see myself having more books, because I'm not only doing for the public, I'm doing also for my children. If the public will not read it, I will read it. If I will not read it, my children will read it. So if I don't write as many books as I can, I'm robbing my children. There are certain things that even as much as I want to teach them, there are certain things I will never touch up in a man-to-man or one-to-one. So through the manuscripts, I'll be able to. So I want to do that and also become a publisher. Give the young ones the platform, the people who are there who have the potentials but they cannot.
Sure. I didn't want because I know we're working on the last scene. Because we need to climatize everything. Where do you want to see yourself collaborating with? And what one last thing I wanted to ask you, he even made me forget, because it was okay. Where do they find you? Which other books do you have that maybe they can also access? Which books are still coming along? When should we expect them? How long should we wait until we get the next book? I don't know if you managed to capture all those questions, but just to know.
I'm also there on Facebook, Karabo Magajoane. I'm there also on TikTok, Karabo. You can find me at Karabo. And then at LinkedIn, you can find me there. I'm Karabo as well. Everywhere I'm Karabo. And then the person that I I'm following closely. Not necessarily I want to collaborate with, but I like how he's committed to his work. Seminko Arts. It's a person because he's been long in this industry, so I want to work with him from in any perspective that I might find myself in. And then my other books, the previous ones, they get them directly from me. Most of the bookstores that have my books, they are in Vereeniging, because that's where I spent much of my lifetime there. So they are there in Vereeniging. Otherwise, they get them directly from me. And then I have 3 books now that I would say they are ready. They just want to pass through the publisher's hands. And then the one that is imminent must be in April.
Okay, April. Which one is it's coming in April?
Run to Win.
Run to Win.
Yeah, this is the first one. That and then from there, perhaps they can be simultaneously. It will just depend.
Okay. I think before we wrap it up, keep on forgetting, man. No. I said you never formally introduced yourself. Where you coming from? Where you based? Where you are? And where is home? I don't remember him introducing. Yes, before we close it up, so that some people maybe they would see you if you say get your hamala, but they're okay. And then go which one to because where is home? Where do you come from? Most of your time, where do you spend most of your time? Where people can find you?
Haye ke CBD la Khure le damo ga o file ga bo Enva Enva Pai. Yeah, I mention him because he's one of my childhood friends. And then ke mo ke tswang gona gae, and then like I elaborated a bit, ke studied Extend School Palagoro, Korean School, Primary School, kaya Palagoro. Then from there, tumile ka ya colleging, LSRS Technical College. From there, kaya Northwest University. Then from there, kaya Valley University of Technology. And then most of the times, I would say for now, for this period, I'm still here around here in Oliver Extension 60. Even though my time. Even though my time is only limited for some technical reasons, but for now I'm here.
Okay. Yeah. Before Gisha Olokwati, I don't know. In closure. I don't. Ghost lady, how many minutes are we left with?
Approximately 7 minutes.
7 minutes. So maybe I'll give you 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Yeah, just to do an overview, review. And what else do we add on overview and review? Closure and remarks. And then I'll give it to Lokwati, and then maybe Ghost Lady Liana wants to give us 15 seconds, and then we wrap it up.
Yeah, in my closing, I would say this is just a message to everyone out there. Guys, make sure you overcome your societal traps. Never find yourself being trapped in your society expectations about your life. Whatever your society considers a success, that shouldn't be your focal point. Your focal point should be on your purpose here on earth. As you are running your life, make sure that you are never trapped about getting this or getting that because your neighbor or your colleague or your brothers, they are having this or that. Because whatever they have is there to serve the purpose of their lives, and that might not be relevant for your purpose. Make sure that whatever you accumulate, whether it's friendship, whether it's career-wise, whatever, is there to help you fulfill your God-given mandate. Whatever you are here on earth for, that should be your biggest worry. Lastly, guys, always be expectant. I always define the word expectation like this. Expectation simply means getting your head above your temporal circumstance, a far way to where your help should be coming from. In other words, when you say I'm expecting, you're saying I am not attached, I am not married to where I am. I am looking at what I'm supposed to be.
Okay. All right, Lokwati. Na go la go le good.
Yeah. Ghost lady.
Koko ko sha gore kwa Korean the products that we have.
Fresh fruits.
Retrospective.
Retrospective
bara gore. O tsoro molapo le team ka moka ka di zone ka moka.
o tsere molapo ke yona
Itile, a nka re retrospection gona ebile a-
ke yona plek e le no share zone
ke zone A fela e tlo zama go bolela e se ke la mpetha ba molapo le kwati
yeah ghost lady did you have something to say
I was very motivated by your interview today. Like the interview Jerry Kwang today, they don't carry for us, especially for youth. Ne? Your words are very encouraging, and I hope Mudima will bless it and continue to encourage about to one step at a time. And now you learn something. As much as they say you learn something new every day, I learned a lot. That's what is important to me. As much as education, education, like I always promote that, especially to youth. They can take everything away from you, but they'll never take your education away from you. So I always motivate a lot of youth for young school. Everything,
but not your education,
not your knowledge. Never. So thank you so much for those words of encouragement, and I hope you continue and prosper and
I know. Hey, like I said, it always hits back home.
Yeah, it always hits back home.
Before Bulela, you did mention December you'll have a way to apologize to our viewers. So I'm reminding you. I don't know which way was it, but I think now is that.
No, I'm working. I'm currently working on that way, where we are going to formally apologize to our viewers because we've been away for the longest of time now, and I'm 100% sure now that people are no longer sure if we are still out there or not. They are starting to doubt us now. But we are back. There is just only one reason why we are away. Reason arna fela go was bar nekile khole man.
You ran away. But we are happy that you are back.
I'm back.
Yeah, welcome back. Welcome
because
back.
of the love of money, I had to go. Mongas mentioning but yeah, it's a story for another day. Lena was very inspired, Mr. Magajoane. Thank you so much. I was very inspired. This particular episode hit home, and it was very personal and emotional at the same time for the reason Jelo Rongasi mentioned. But Muno only the point when you touched on them, Muno na fella at Sarah, because he knows where I come from. He even knows where I'm going. You understand? But from me and the team, it's what's popping the podcast. Over and out.
Yeah, na Mr. Magajoane, that's why ke rile a ke nyaka go bolela se lona e tlo ba ka rena lona re ikwanetse ka gore nna ke tseba wena ba go tsebe. So I'm glad that on our first scene you went through it le legwati, and now I've long been motivated by this man. Hence I asked you guys like can we go and see this man, because I knew that you'll also be motivated.
Sure.
So I didn't doubt it.
Sure.
Yeah. So Mr. Magajoane, Rena Releva was popping the podcast, our season 3 episode 1 yeah, and scene 3
Yeah, scene 3.
Season 3
Yeah,
episode 1 scene 3 yeah. So re a leboga nna ke tlhoke botsa monno ke le mokoni go bona ntwe ke idia le monno, because ke a fisha ga llo gore ge ba re go na le ntho ba re ke banana e tswa ile ka banana e tswa setlhareng setlhare se dia ke mudu dia ke kana se di ka sepedi
ke peo
aga ke ka mo ke nya ka se a tshaba ke re yeah so ke bia ke le jwalo that's why ke tsena o tla go ba re ke mokoni wa bokoni was popping the podcast. We want to know what's happening. We start with the banana which is coming from a tree that comes from a root that comes from a seed, over and out, and then we are out.
Nane kere inclusive fella ne.
Yeah,
I don't think osana le ntho nya ka ngwa including. If you know that you're from ZB, or if you know someone from ZB who would love to see Adujileren on the couch, ne, bring them forth. This year, specifically, this podcast, it's about Rhodisha Batibako High. It's about Rhodisha Batibako ZB. It's about Rhodisha community. Over and out.